All right, so get ready for a deep dive into the mind behind Squid Game. We've got like this exclusive interview with Hwang Dong-hyuk.
Wow.
The creator, writer, and director himself.
Exciting.
We'll be unpacking his thoughts on character deaths.
Yeah.
The long road to Squid Game's success. Mm-hmm. And his surprising TV habits.
Interesting.
There's even a hint about a future project.
Oh.
That might be even darker than Squid Game.
Oh, wow.
It's not every day we get such candid insights from a creative force like Hwang.
Right, especially after a global phenomenon like Squid Game.
Exactly. And, one thing that really jumped out at me was how he talked about character deaths.
Oh, really?
I mean, these are brutal eliminations.
Yeah.
Often quite shocking for us viewers.
Sure.
But he seemed to find a strange joy in crafting these moments.
Huh.
Almost like he's smiling inside as each actor wraps their final scene.
That's interesting, isn't it? Could this, joy be a necessary detachment from his creations?
Mm-hmm.
Or even a commentary on how individuals are often treated as disposable in today's world? Think about the themes of economic desperation and the systems that devalue human life that run throughout Squid Game.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's like he's forcing us to confront that harsh reality.
Yeah.
Not just within the game itself, but in the way we consume and even dismiss fictional deaths.
Precisely. And remember, he's juggling a huge cast.
Right.
From a practical perspective, each departure simplifies the production.
Sure.
But it also speaks to his role as a storyteller.
Yeah.
He's crafting a narrative.
Yeah.
And sometimes that narrative demands sacrifices to maintain tension and drive the plot forward.
It's a tough job being the puppet master of such intense emotions.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of tough jobs,
Yeah.
Hwang's path to Squid Game's success was anything but easy.
For sure.
Can you believe it took him 15 years to bring this story to life?
15 years. That's incredible. Talk about persistence.
I know.
It really highlights how ideas can evolve and gain traction over time. Initially, Squid Game was envisioned as a 2-hour film, but he just couldn't make it work.
Wow.
Funding was scarce.
Yeah.
And he couldn't even find actors who connected with the concept.
Wow. Imagine Squid Game almost not existing at all.
I know, right?
It makes you wonder, what if he had given up?
Exactly. It's a testament to the power of believing in your vision.
Yeah.
Even when it feels like the world isn't ready for it.
Right.
But it also shows how the right format can make all the difference.
Yeah.
Squid Game might have stayed a hidden gem
Right.
if it weren't for the episodic nature of a TV series and the global reach of Netflix.
It's fascinating how the Netflix format opened the door for a global audience to engage with these very specific Korean cultural anxieties, making them resonate on an international level.
Right.
Speaking of engaging with content,
Yeah.
here's something that surprised me.
Okay.
Hwang's taste in entertainment is incredibly diverse.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's not just watching art house films or critically acclaimed series. He's into news channels,
Yeah.
reality TV,
Oh, wow.
you name it.
That's a great point. You wouldn't necessarily expect the creator of such a dark,
Right.
complex series to have such an eclectic viewing palette.
Right.
It challenges the whole notion of highbrow versus lowbrow entertainment.
Right. Like, who are we to judge what's considered cool to watch?
Right.
It's more about embracing what genuinely interests you,
For sure.
regardless of the genre.
And I think that speaks volumes about his creative process.
Mm-hmm.
This omnivorous approach to content probably allows him to blend genres,
Right.
pull inspiration from unexpected sources,
Yeah.
and ultimately subvert viewer expectations in Squid Game.
Yes. It's not just about passively consuming all this content,
Right.
but actively engaging with it, extracting ideas and
Yeah.
seeing connections that others might miss.
Sure.
He mentioned finishing entire seasons of Breaking Bad and Why Women Kill.
Oh, wow.
Those are shows that demand attention, you know?
Yeah.
They're not just background noise.
He's clearly drawing from a vast well of influences,
Right.
which might explain why Squid Game feels both familiar and utterly unique.
Okay, but here's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Does this wide range of influences translate into an openness to working in Hollywood?
Well, from the interview, it seems he's definitely open to the idea.
Interesting.
He even mentioned Jake Gyllenhaal as someone he'd be interested in collaborating with.
Now, that would be a pairing for the ages.
Right.
But even with this interest in bridging the gap, between Korean and American filmmaking, he's stated a clear preference for working with Korean actors on his own projects.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's a level of understanding, a shared cultural context that you just can't replicate when working with actors from a different background.
And it goes beyond language, right?
Well, sure.
I mean, obviously, working in your native language offers a level of control and nuance, especially with complex themes and emotional expressions. But it's also about capturing the essence of a specific cultural experience.
Exactly. Think about the subtle social cues,
Right.
the unspoken anxieties, the way certain emotions are expressed. These are nuances that could easily get lost in translation.
It's like he's saying, to truly capture the heart of this story, I need to work with people who viscerally understand the world I'm depicting. But even with this preference, his openness to U.S. productions is intriguing. It suggests a willingness to experiment, to explore new creative avenues.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, he studied film in the U.S.
Oh, right.
So he already has a foot in both worlds.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what a Hwang Dong-hyuk directed Hollywood film would even look like.
Ooh, the possibilities are endless.
I know.
But for now, let's shift our focus back to Squid Game itself and the social commentary that lies beneath the surface. One thing that stood out to me was Hwang's evolving perspective on the economic anxieties that drive the characters to such desperate measures. Initially, he assumed it would be middle-aged folks who would be the most desperate to participate in the games.
It's a logical assumption, isn't it?
Right.
They're often at a stage in life where financial setbacks can have the most devastating consequences.
Right.
Families to support, mortgages to pay,
maybe
even dwindling career prospects.
Exactly. But as he points out, the world has changed dramatically, even in the years since he first conceived of Squid Game. He's realized that younger generations are now facing similar pressures, leading them to similar risk-taking behaviors. He even specifically mentioned the rise of cryptocurrency investments and online gambling among younger demographics.
That's a chilling observation, isn't it? It reflects a growing sense of disillusionment and lack of opportunity, even desperation among young people worldwide. It's like they're being told to work hard and climb the ladder, but the rungs are disappearing beneath their feet.
It's like they're trapped in a system that feels increasingly rigged against them. So they turn to these high-risk ventures, hoping for a quick fix to a deeply rooted problem.
And that shift in perspective is directly reflected in Season 2 of Squid Game. Hwang has deliberately incorporated a younger cast to mirror these contemporary societal issues, making the series even more relevant to a global audience.
It's a brilliant move. By grounding the narrative in the anxieties of a younger generation, he's not just telling a story. He's holding up a mirror to society, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about the world we're creating.
And just when you think the stakes couldn't get any higher, he drops a bombshell about Season 3.
What?
His words were simple, yet incredibly powerful. It's better than Season 2.
Okay, now that's just cruel. How can he leave us hanging like that?
I know, right?
He's already raised the bar so high with the first 2 seasons.
For sure.
And now he's claiming Season 3 will surpass them both.
That's a bold statement. It definitely generates buzz and fuels anticipation, but it also sets him up for potential disappointment. Can he really top the intensity and emotional impact of the first 2 seasons?
Maybe. He's a master of suspense, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But this darker than Squid Game project he's hinted at, that's what's really got me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Imagine something even darker and more unsettling than the Squid Game universe.
He said it's set 10 to 20 years in the future.
Wow.
And that it will be cruel and sad, but also somehow quirky and humorous.
Really?
It seems he's taking that blend of tones to a whole new level.
It's like he's tapped into some primal fear about the future. And he's not afraid to explore it. Even if it makes us squirm a little.
It's that willingness to delve into the darkness, to expose the vulnerabilities of human nature that makes his work so compelling. He's not shying away from the tough questions. He's forcing us to grapple with them head on. It makes you wonder what facets of our current reality he's extrapolating on to create something even more unsettling than the Squid Game universe. Is it a world ravaged by climate change? A society where technology has eroded our humanity? Or maybe something more psychological, a descent into collective madness.
Don't even get me started on those possibilities. Yeah. It's like he's peering into the abyss and challenging us to look along with him.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's weaving in elements of humor and quirkiness makes it even more intriguing.
Yeah.
It's not just bleak despair.
Right.
There's a complexity there.
Yeah.
A recognition that even in the darkest of times, human nature finds ways to adapt, to cope.
Yeah.
Sometimes, in absurd and unexpected ways.
It reminds me of the classic dystopian novels like Brave New World or 1984.
Where the horrors are often presented with a sardonic wit.
Yeah.
A dark humor that underscores the absurdity of it all.
Yeah, exactly. It's that blend of darkness and humor that makes you think.
Right.
Makes you question long after the story's over.
Mm-hmm.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into Hwang Dong-hyuk's world, what stands out to you most about his perspective?
I think what's most remarkable is his ability to balance the personal and the universal. He's incredibly open about his own creative struggles.
Yeah.
His diverse taste in entertainment. Even his willingness to potentially collaborate with Hollywood. But he also possesses this incredible awareness of the broader social and economic forces shaping our lives. And he weaves those insights seamlessly into his work, creating narratives that are both deeply personal and universally resonant.
You're so right. It's like he's saying, hey, these are my anxieties, my fears, my observations about the world, but they're also your anxieties, your fears, your experiences. And that's the power of great storytelling, isn't it? It creates a bridge between the individual and the collective, allowing us to see ourselves reflected in the experiences of others.
It's like he's tapped into a collective, unconscious, giving voice to anxieties that we might not even be fully aware of ourselves.
Precisely. And by doing so, he's not just entertaining us. He's challenging us to think critically about the world we live in and the choices we make.
You know, one thing that really made me think was his almost gleeful approach to killing off characters. It was jarring at first. But then I started to see it as a commentary on the nature of storytelling itself.
I see what you mean. As viewers, we get so attached to these characters. We invest emotionally in their journeys. But to the creator, they're ultimately pieces on a chessboard. Each move calculated to achieve a specific narrative effect.
It's a bit unsettling when you think about it that way. But it's also liberating. It reminds us that these are fictional constructs. And sometimes, for the story to work, sacrifices have to be made.
It's like he's saying, don't get too comfortable. Don't get too attached. This is a game, and the rules can change at any moment.
And maybe that's a reflection of the world we live in, right? Where things can change in an instant. Where security and stability are increasingly elusive.
It's a sobering thought, but an important one. And it speaks to the power of Squid Game as a social commentary. It's not just a survival thriller. It's a reflection of our times. A warning about the potential consequences of unchecked greed and desperation.
And the fact that he's deliberately shifted the focus to younger generations in season 2. Mirroring their very real anxieties about economic instability and lack of opportunity. Makes it even more relevant.
It's a reminder that the themes explored in Squid Game aren't confined to fiction. They're playing out in real life right now, across the globe.
It's like he's saying, this isn't just entertainment. This is a wake-up call.
And a powerful one at that. So, as you dive back into the world of Squid Game, pay attention to the subtle ways Hwang is weaving these real-world anxieties into the narrative.
Look for the parallels between the games and the pressures young people face in today's society.
Consider the choices they make, the alliances they form, the betrayals that unfold, and ask yourself, what would you do in their shoes?
Would you hold on to your humanity in the face of unimaginable cruelty? Or would you succumb to the pressure, sacrificing your values for a chance at survival?
Heavy stuff, right? But that's what we do here at The Deep Dive. We go beyond the surface, exploring the hidden depths of the ideas and stories that shape our world.
And speaking of hidden depths, I can't help but wonder what terrifying truths Hwang's darker than Squid Game project might reveal about our future.
It's so interesting.
What anxieties will he tap into? What questions will he force us to confront?
We can only speculate at this point. But one thing's for sure.
What's that?
Hwang Dong-hyuk is a visionary storyteller who's not afraid to challenge our perceptions
Right.
and provoke uncomfortable conversations.
Wow.
And that's a voice we need to be listening to, especially in these uncertain times.
He's definitely left us with a lot to ponder.
Yeah.
And that, my friends, is the mark of a truly great deep dive. It's like he's holding up a funhouse mirror to society,
Right.
distorting our familiar anxieties into something grotesque, yet strangely captivating.
And that's what makes Squid Game so unsettling,
Right.
yet impossible to look away from.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront those uncomfortable truths about ourselves,
Yeah,
about the choices we might make when backed into a corner.
for sure.
It's a reminder that the line between right and wrong,
Yeah.
between compassion and self-preservation, can become blurry when survival is on the line.
I think that's what makes this upcoming project so fascinating.
Yeah.
We're left wondering, what will be the breaking point in this future world he's creating?
Right.
What will push people over the edge?
Will it be economic collapse, environmental disaster,
Yeah.
technological overreach, or perhaps a combination of all these factors?
And how will those elements of dark humor and quirkiness play out against such a backdrop?
It's going to be interesting to see.
It's a recipe for a truly thought-provoking and potentially terrifying experience.
It's almost like he's daring us to imagine the worst-case scenario,
Right.
to confront our deepest fears about where humanity might be headed.
So as we conclude our deep dive into the mind of Hwang Dong-hyuk,
Yeah.
I'm left with this lingering sense of unease, but also a strange sense of excitement.
Interesting.
It's like he's opened a Pandora's box of ideas,
Yeah.
and now we're left to grapple with the implications.
And isn't that the mark of a truly great storyteller? To leave us questioning, pondering, and engaging with the world around us in a deeper, more meaningful way.
Absolutely. So as you revisit Squid Game, or eagerly await his future projects, remember to look beyond the surface.
Okay.
Pay attention to the subtle details, the choices characters make, the systems that shape their behavior. Ask yourself, what does it all mean?
What does it mean?
And how does it reflect our own anxieties, our own potential for both darkness and resilience?
And most importantly, keep those questions alive even after the credits roll.
Right.
Because that's how we truly engage with art, with storytelling, and with the world around us.
Well, that's it for this deep dive.
Okay.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep.